Hey, everybody out there in Twitch, everywhere, in YouTube, in TikTok, in the world. Thank you so much for joining my stream here. In just a moment, we'll be live on TikTok and we'll get the show rolling. If you're joining on TikTok, then you definitely won't see this, but definitely you'll see it on TikTok. I'll have it presented right here. I can't wait to share with you this exciting journey in just a moment. I am actually gonna start the live in a little bit. But I just wanted to read a disclaimer that I'm not gonna read on TikTok. But if you're interested, it'll be read here. Um, as you listen tonight or read the pages of Pour to Polish, I want to gently remind you that this book is my truth, a story stitched from lived experience, memory, and reflection. While some stories include painful moments of criticisms or things of that nature, my intent is to never hurt or shame anyone. I speak on injustice that affected my family, moments where systems failed us, and personal struggles I had to overcome, not to accuse, but to heal. The people I reference were part of my journey. Whether their impact was positive or painful, they helped shape who I've become. And tonight's launch is not about blame, it's about becoming. So, to anyone who sees themselves in these pages, I see you too. And I hope you see that this book was written with love, tenacity, and transformation in mind, with gratitude and grace. Me, Fantastic Life. Um, these books are now available pretty much wherever you shop. And I'm excited to read a chapter tonight. And it's my birthday, so I'm excited about that too. What else can I say? I'm very excited and thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. The Sama. Ooh, thank you so much. I feel the love with you too. I'm very excited. This has been a complete journey, and if you feel that you have a need to live your best life, you can't worry about what other people think. What other people think. You can't. You have to live your best life. You just do. Okay, so I'm gonna hit live just to make sure we have no glitches, and I'm excited to get started. I hope you are too. Are you ready? Hey everyone, I am hitting the button early, just 3 minutes to make sure that we are ready. If you're joining in early, that's great. Give me a second and let me tune on in so that we're all on the same page. I want to make sure what we're seeing is authentic and amazing. Just give me 1 second. Now, if we won't be able to see it here, it's okay. It is what it is. This is why we take seconds. Maybe I should log in with another account. Oh well, so if you can, make sure you're watching on TikTok. I'll definitely stream it live. That's what we're doing. And you're here anyway, so you get it anyway. It doesn't matter. What you're gonna see is my live. So hi everyone, welcome so much to joining. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm also streaming live there. I'll give you the quick show so you can see. It's right there. But I'm also streaming live on TikTok. I want to make sure that I'm available to everyone and anyone. And if you're watching it on both, that's great. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's get started. Thank you so much, everyone. This is my live virtual launch. I welcome all of you. Thank you so much for joining. Some of you are like, what is this about? We have a minute to go, so I'm just going to give everybody a minute. I'm just going to go ahead and take a little sip of my hot tea. You know we need the hot tea. You know we need the hot tea. Oh, So why are we all here? Oh my goodness. Well, there's a lot that has happened and it's a lifetime journey. Some of you have your own journeys and I want to hear about those journeys. Some of you have yet to live those journeys and I want you to feel that you can express and be a part of anything that you want to be a part of. If you see me turn my head this way, I'm on Twitch. If you see me turn this way, I just want to make sure I'm fair to everyone and I'm available to everyone. It's 7 p.m. everyone. We are here. Hi, my name is Fanny. Some of you know me as Fanny. Some of you know me as Mommy, Titi, sister, who, auntie, right? Some of you know me as Fanny-tastic Life. Some of you that will be joining tonight are a part of 26 countries that are available through my podcast and my newsletter who reach out to me all the time. Definitely when you look at my different streams, you see, do I have 1 million followers? No, but in my herd, I am. And the voice that I speak to is the voice of my journey. Now, I just want to make sure to go over some things. I do have some stuff that I wrote down because I'm a person that likes to take a lot of physical notes. I want to start by saying thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me tonight. Today is incredibly special, not because it's just my birthday, it's a coincidence, but also because of this official launch. This is my first book. It's called Pour to Polish, A Journey of Tenacity and Transformation. This is what the books look like. Some of you have already reached out. You've ordered these books. Wow, thank you so much. This book definitely supports everything. These are my true words. I've been writing this book since 2007. I'm a person that I journal and I take notes of many different things, many different genres. I'm not just focused on one specific type of thing. I like to kind of spread my thoughts all over. Welcome everybody. Wow. Hi everyone. I want to just make sure I especially ask people to pre-register on the website. If you registered on the website, definitely I have something in store at the end. So I just wanted to make sure I gave a shout out to Jamie, Wilhelmina, my sister, Cynthia, my cousin, Melkesa, Amber, Angelina, Jasmine, Chantal, Leslie, Zerlinda, and Nadia. Thank you so much for the pre-registration. If you pre-registered, I have a special gift for you and I will mention at the very end. If you didn't pre-register, it's okay. Because at the end anyways, I do have something that I really will give to all. So why I wrote this book. So this is some of the things that I really wanted to speak about. So I wrote this book because this is the work of my heart. Hi, hello, how are you? It was said if you wanted to co-host, that's no problem. So I wrote this book. It's a work of my heart. It's built from pain, healing, a purpose and power. I wrote this book to share my truth, to reach out to everyone and anyone, whoever felt overlooked or underestimated or been laughed at. I really wanted to make sure that when I write, I publish, I transform. Sometimes we get stuck in a rut and sometimes we have things that happen to us and we really have to understand that you can't really think about these things in such a negative way. You can't feel that type. If you can't grow from things that happen to you, that's okay. But you have to take time in your heart to learn how to grow from things that happen to you. And this book is an answer to many things that I've been doubted about. Things that I've dismissed or I told that I wasn't enough for. It's interesting. This is my time. We all have something in our lives that changes us, transforms us. And we have to understand that when you feel that you have something that gives purpose, you have to go through that journey. Sometimes that journey is uncomfortable. But the thing that's interesting to me and why I mention that is sometimes God tells you, girl, get out of there. And you stay focused and you stay there. You stay willing to dig deep, but it's not your journey. You already did your part. And now you got to move on. I've carried these stories for decades. And now I have the time to live and breathe them. And I'm very excited about that. I want to just first mention In the beginning of my book, there's a lot of things that I wrote about, including dedications and acknowledgments. I do want to take this moment to go over that. So I want to take a moment to thank Angelina, if you're listening, if you're a part of this journey. Angelina opened her home to me when I was struggling at my most. And this was a time of my darkest period of my life. I know her to be my sister's best friend at the time, Missy, or my children call her Titi Angelina. To me, she's been my mentor, and that's hard for many people to understand and grasp. But the way she sees the world has helped me carve out who I am in this world. Because many times in my life, it has not been an easy journey, and sometimes people meet you and they think that you're having an easy life, and that's okay, because people struggle through many things and they see things how their perspective allows them to. I also want to take a moment to understand that I dedicate this book to my husband. My husband, Sergio, has been my husband for 22 plus years. He is a foundation in my life. And if he doesn't know how much I love him, he's crazy. He is one of the reasons that I have the ability and the mental stability to sit and write my book. And also I want to give one more dedication to my children, my 4 babies. You know that saying, I promised myself I wouldn't cry? Yeah, that's that moment. These kids, when I tell you, have changed who I am in this world. Now, with that said, we're going to get right to it. This is my copy of this book, okay? And I'm going to go right to chapter 1. If anyone has this book, feel free to read along with me. I'm going to read in my voice and how it's meant to be read, or how it's meant to be heard. And I'm actually going to read from the book. And I really want you to understand that this is purposeful. I want you to understand the perspective of what I'm reading. But I'm only going to read the first part of chapter 1, only because I want you to hear the grit, the messy, the raw of my story. And after I read this, then we'll go on to the next part. Okay, so with much due respect, chapter 1, the 6th borough, 1980 to 1992. Avenue A and my first breath. I was born in the Lower East Side, 500 East 11th Street, Avenue A, apartment 1. What the gentrified now call Alphabet City, but to those who lived and bled on its streets, it was the 6th borough. It wasn't just a neighborhood. It was a state of mind, a war zone, a haven, a place where survival meant everything. A place where dreams were both made and broken in the same breath. Where the scent of arroz con pollo mingled with the metallic bite of the city's grit. Where rent was cheap, but survival came at a cost. My childhood wasn't one of white picket fences or bedtime stories. It was raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic. Roaches weren't an inconvenience. They were part of the decor. I learned early that the difference between a raisin and a cockroach in your cereal was a matter of a sharp eyesight and a quick reflexes. The street outside my door was alive at all hours. Bodegas buzzing with customers, fire escapes rattling under the weight of kids sneaking out for a smoke, sirens wailing in the distance. The air carried a strange mix of fried food, exhausted fumes, and the unmistakable metallic scent of the city's pulse. My mother, Shari Sugarlovin, and my father, Fenor Ramiro Alanis Melian, were young, beautiful, and drowning in a world that made no room for softness. My mother was a genius, an IQ that could have put her anywhere. Yet she was here raising 2 daughters after already losing her first child. My father was a musician, a rebel, a force to be reckoned with. He wasn't just some guy with a guitar. He was a CBG legend, a punk rock prince who tore through the city of New York underground like a storm. The hallways of our building smelled of old pipes, frying oil, and the desperation. My mother, a warrior in her own world, her own right, tried to shield me from the rough edges of the world. But the streets of Avenue A had their own lessons, the kind that weren't written in textbooks, but were instead taught by watching by surviving. That's just the first page, the first page and a half of chapter 1. That's kind of what the story feels like. As you read through it, thank you for the love. I see you. I see you. Thank you for the love. As you read this book, there's going to be moments where you're going to cry. You're going to laugh. You're not going to understand certain parts. Some parts are going to be too hurtful. On my live stream, I did make sure to tell everyone, there's many things that I wrote in this book. One thing I maintained in this book was dignity and grace. You need to understand that this book doesn't say anything ill about anyone, but it does speak the truth. If you're reading the story and it resonates with you, then let that be your truth. I hope you all see pieces of yourself in this story. Some of you may have felt this because you may have grown up and seen it with me. This story isn't just about me. This is about tenacity, growth, identity, and reclaiming your power, no matter where you come from. Okay, now we're going to get to the next part. Everyone who pre-registered for tonight's event, you're going to get an email from me, and I'm going to gift you something. Okay? So, in this book, when you read it, okay, you're going to go through the chapters, and you're going to notice something. You're going to be like, wait, chapter 12, chapter 14, where's chapter 13? Chapter 13 is not in this book, on purpose. Chapter 13 is a separate book. It's called Lucky 13, Intuition, Spiritual Lessons, and the Power of Faith. At the end of this live, you'll get an email, and you will have the complete manuscript of Lucky 13, just for signing up and pre-registering. If you have Amazon, you can have it for free on Kindle, right? If you have that subscription. The reason why I did that is because I'm not going to put in the story my spirituality, how I feel about things, my intuitions. That's going to be in that book. It deserves its own chapter. I grew up with a lot of superstitions, and I want to respect the religious rights and cultural feelings that I grew up with, and that's why it has its own book. With that said, that book is also available as well. And that book launches April 20th, Easter. Okay? So if you're interested in reading that book and understanding that journey, definitely, that book is completely different. That's the other thing I want to address. I work on many different things, podcasts, newsletters. I work with people all the time. Individuals reach out to me about their taxes, about help me, I can't speak to my boss. Help me, I don't know what to do. Can you help me with my resume? I have a paper that's due. Where should I start? And I used to charge people a lot, but I'm no longer gatekeeping. I decided this year, 2025, this is not a gatekeeping year. This is a year to help people level up, to help people see things differently, to look at themselves in a different light, to walk around the streets knowing your value and worth before anyone tells you to know who you are. You need to know who you are and how to value yourself. I just got nervous. Okay. Well, with that said, this is my surprise. And the reason why I wanted to make sure I said the surprise is because from this event, I'm going to pick one of you who will win a winner reveal. Okay, so I already mentioned everybody that pre-registered that I have your information. You'll definitely get that manuscript, and it will definitely be a PDF email. So I hope that you value it, you respect it, you cherish it, you understand the worth. Okay. However, I have book announcements because I have books that will launch the whole entire year. Let me tell you, life, if you allow yourself to listen, it changes you. It really does. So with that said, my next book is going to launch on Mother's Day, and that book is called Grow and Let Go, a guide for parents from baby glow to empty nesting. This book is very sentimental, okay? I know Porta Polished is a tough book because it's raw. And I know Lucky 13 is a spiritual book, but some of you are going to be like, what? Is Fanny crazy? Definitely, if that's how you read me. Grow and Let Go inspired me because I journal. I write so many things down and I keep track of that. And I got to give a shout out to Danielle Dahlia, my old coworker. She really gave me that gift of understanding journalizing because she did it. And I saw that. And so, by the way, there's a lot of shout outs. I'll come back to that in just a moment. But my children came to me and, we kind of outlined the paths we have for our children and where we see them growing and ending up. And even my beautiful Leslie, she told me, hey, you can't write people's destinations. You can't write their journeys. That's their journey. And I had to take a moment and reflect and say, you know what? Why am I trying to plan my children's futures? I need to let them plan this. And so, Grow and Let Go, I gotta give credit. If you ever read the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, or if you ever was a part of babycenter.com, what's great about those tools, which I've used, is once they're born and once the year comes, what's next? That's what that book is for. It's for helping parents cope and understand that you're not alone. And when your nest gets empty, now it's time for your empty nest glow. Okay? That book will launch August 1st for Florida. This book will go live to everyone, but just specifically it's aimed for the Florida students that my heart goes out to. Okay? A lot of the students in Florida have this need for information that's not readily available, that the idea of looking things up and trying to find and discover what they're supposed to do, it's really just not aligned. And sometimes they need to speak to people, they don't have answers, they get lost in certain systems. So this book called The Smarts Guide to Academic Success, grades 5 to 11 for school strategy, confidence, and college prep, will come out August 1st, geared to 5th to 11th graders. For my 12th grade and seniors, The Smarts Guide to Life After High School, 12th grade and beyond, scholarships, career paths, and real life prep will come out August 1st. And The Smarts Personal Success Journal, a student development companion journal, will also come out on August 1st. Those 3 books will come out together. And the price of that book is beyond low because I want it attainable to Florida students. And just to be transparent, because I love transparency, there's almost a 0% profit range there because I want them to be able to get this book. And I want them to be able to unlock all the secrets that they cannot get. And some of them have parents that just are not familiar with the Florida systems. Florida has a lot of transient families and many different languages. So the first guide there is to provide that information, that resource to them with the links and the how and the who and the what, so they can go conquer the world. And if you feel your state needs that book because it resonates, I'll write it for your state too. Please understand it's my passion to help everyone. Obviously, I serve God, right? And I love myself and I love my family. But if I can help anyone, I will. Why not? And then I have another book coming out. This one should be July 7th. It's called The Entrepreneur from Sidewalks to Startups. This is kind of like a spicy summer book. This one will come out and it's going to be a fun read for those who just like quick reads for the summer. I do have 2 more surprises. We have another book that's going to come out also during the holiday time to reflect a podcast that we were trying to do that didn't launch. And that's called Business, Brunch, and Blessings. And then for 2026, we have a book about grief. So I hope that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 8 books. And I hope that that's not the end all be all. That's not spilling the beans. That's helping anyone who gets these books to feel empowered. Some of you come to me on a daily basis with comments and questions. Some of you read my newsletters. I have a lot of people from different countries who say, talk about this, talk about that. So sometimes you may see my newsletters and it's like, why is Faye talking about this? It's because of you. And I gotta say, my subscribers for my newsletter really carved my journey, and I have to take a moment for them. They were paid subscribers for a very long time, and that truly inspired and empowered me to pivot and do what I need to do for my life. So I want to take that moment and just acknowledge them. Now it's a free subscription, and I thank you for helping me build that foundation. Okay, so I'm going to reveal our lucky winner. This lucky winner will receive the actual book, Lucky 13. That's the companion book to this story. And I'm going to tell you who the winner is. So this person will get a signed copy of that book. And they will also be listed in my newsletter. And they will also have a lot of information about first dibs for the third book. And so that person I have listed here. So I did kind of a tumbling survey. I haven't spoken to this person in such a long time, and they're one of the pre-registered people. So a lot of love to you, Moquesa, but married now, voodoo. But I want to just make sure I let you know, give you the shine. You won that book, and I appreciate you so much. And I'm definitely going to send you that out. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And now we're going to do a Q&A. If someone has any questions or comments, I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm looking to see. Let's see. If you have any questions, this would be the moment. And then we'll get into the end. Does anyone have any questions? I don't see. Maybe you guys do. I'm looking back here. Let's see. Just got, okay. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. When did you start writing the book? Okay, thank you so much. That question is from Zelinda, my beautiful niece. MD, stop. I started writing this book, Pour to Polished, in 2007. And I was struggling in that moment with wanting to have a baby. And I was kind of like writing a letter to God. And I was like, why? And then I started reflecting on my journey. And once I started reflecting on my journey, thank you, happy birthday, thank you so much. Once I started reflecting on my journey, I felt like, wait a second, this is healing. This is complete healing. So then I would do, honestly, what I would do is I would open up Word, I would go on Dictate, and I would just kind of speak my story. And Word would write it down, and then I would edit it, and I would be like, oh, okay, what does that look like? And then I completed like chapter 1, and I said, oh, okay. Then I did chapter 2, and then chapter 3, and then I said, oh my goodness, this is a whole book. And I was blown away, and I said, why doesn't everybody do this? But it's kind of like when someone said to me, a student once said to me, I want to reflect on who the student is. I can't write this essay. What should I do? And we had a whole class. And if that's you, give me the shout out. Let me know. But I said, listen, every time you speak for 1 minute, that's 1,000 words. So 10 minutes, that's 10,000 words. Go for it. Just speak for a minute. And my students were like, oh, miss, you're crazy. And I said, no, try it. Because I cover this in my book that, when I was young, my youngest son's age, I had a challenge of reading. I could not read. But it wasn't reading, it was comprehension. And I could read something and it didn't make sense to me. So then I would read it out loud. And then my beautiful Aunt Susie invited me to her read out louds, where we would read out loud. I said, wow, people read out loud. You don't have to just read inside. So then I started reading. I wasn't just surviving. I was being refined. I said, let me read it with energy. Every struggle, every setback, every moment of doubt wasn't breaking me. It was polishing me into the woman I was always meant to be. You see that? I could read that with feeling. and I would read it in my head, and I would speak it into just talking it out. And then I would go back and edit. Of course, I type and I write, and I have my books and my journals, and I will look through my composition journals like, oh my goodness, this is gold. Not gold in the monetary sense, but healing. Somebody's gonna read this and say, don't stop. When I did the podcast in 2000 and I guess 1920 during the COVID time, one day I was in the grocery store, Stop and was it Stop and Shop? I can't remember right now. And I was in my beautiful town of Sakasana, and I shout out to Sakasana. Anybody who knows me I love my Sakasana. But one of the parents in our community was like, oh my God, you're fantastic life. And I was like, what? Yeah. And she said, I listened to your podcast and you are changing my life. And that blew me away. What am I saying? And she says, I listened to all your podcasts. Please don't stop. And I was like, okay, I won't stop. And then this woman from Sweden, and she's my only one listener in Sweden, by the way, it's 26 countries. She wrote me a message, and she said, you allowed me to heal. And then she asked if she could give me questions and prompts that I can speak to. And I said yes. And then one time we had a conversation. It was quite beautiful. You know, that's on another side of the world. I'll go there one day. I think that people understand that healing comes from telling your truths. I know a lot of us post on TikTok and Instagram, you know, that particular, like, let me get myself right here image, and we filter and stuff, and we have 1 million viewers, which is great. But does that give you substance in your life? If you make money from it, do it. Do it. But remember, okay, when we all pass, does that come with us? It doesn't. That's the hard lesson. You're going to see those hard lessons in this book if you're ready for it. Okay. I want to just give a final blessing, and then I'm just going to give some shout outs at the end, if that's okay with everyone. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for showing up tonight. Thank you for giving Porter Polish a place in your life. Okay? 6,000. What? Thank you. This is just the beginning. Let the moment be your reminder. Okay? You can rise. You can transform. And you can polish your own story. Someone said to me, why polish? If you know me, I'm trying to find something right now that I can show you. I don't have it right in front of me. It's a big, my ring, here you go. If you know me, you'll understand the polish part very well. At the end of the book, I refer to certain people in my life, it just finds it, as my champions. Here it is. If you're not mentioned in this and you feel like you should have been mentioned, reach out to me, let me know. Okay? A lot of people, as you read my journey, I said, oh my goodness, I have to look up how many people I mentioned. I mentioned a lot of people by name in this journey. If you know me, you're probably mentioned in my book. But these are my champions. And I'm not going to read what I wrote about you, but you'll have to read it yourself. Okay? I'm going to just give, now, there's a lot of you that I know that have the same names. So just in case, I'll give a clue to each one, okay? And I want to mention this because it's very important. I also speak very deeply about my family, and you'll see that. I also want to mention, Lucky 13 is dedicated to someone, just like this book was dedicated to someone. All my books have a dedication to someone that inspired me to write that. And it's important that you don't feel like, why not me? Sometimes that happens. There's specific things that happened in my life that pointed to that person. Some of you don't realize that I carry you in my heart every day, and I think about you, and I worry about you, and I cry about you. And my one son, my beautiful Cecito, will say, "Mommy, you cry too much." While as my beautiful Andre would say, "Pee more, cry less." Sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's just our emotion and how we help things and go through things. I want to mention Angel, my Pepito, Brandon, God fearing, Calvin, the leader of the hive, he knows who he is. Elizabeth, ooh girl, go ahead. George, you know who you are. James, Jimmy Choo. Jeff, he would call me his sister from another mister. Jessica, that's a woman right there. Lena, Marla, Mia, Miriam, Elkesa, Monica, Monique, Paul, Russell, you smelly. And I want to give a special thank you to the Rotary Club, Harley Davidson, my students families, Kissimmee Main Street, my children's friends, and to Kids World with the director Yashida. You will see what this means to me, and those people are mentioned for a specific time in my journey. Sometimes when you work with people, or you go to school with people, or you know people, something happens in your dynamic, a spark. And that spark ignites, and it changes their direction. You might think that you're going this way, and this is your path, but something happens, and now forget about that. Now you're going this way. And these type of people inspire those moments of ignition, of, how would you say that? There goes my terrible way I speak. Understand that those moments are God sent. It's very important to understand that specifically. It's just very important. Now, let me see one more part that I wanted to speak about. Okay. I wanted to talk about one more point, and then I'm going to end. And that's going to be the whole journey. Okay. As most of you know, that I have a website. It's www.fantastic.life. And I do a lot of my writing there. That's kind of like home base. That's a newsletter, right? So if you're a part of it and you subscribe, that's great. No pressure. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you want to, go for it. And I speak a lot of my truths there. And sometimes I work up feathers and people get very upset or they ask questions. And I don't feel bad about those questions. It's good that if you feel that you need to question people, you should. But you need to be with dignity and grace. Sometimes when we do things, we lose our head. And I have lost my head many times. And someone in my life, a gentleman named Anthony, when I worked at the U of T, told me that if someone tells you I'm amazing, believe them. And if someone tells you I'm a B and they hate me, believe them also. And I love Anthony. And the funny thing about that is I say the same. You know, when you meet people, they get who they came for. Don't be afraid to be your true person. You know, at work, will I enunciate my T's? Oh, most definitely. But when I'm not at work and I'm myself, I'm who I am and who I'm meant to be. And you can't resonate with everyone. But as long as you have your true self, you'll be fine. Okay? Well, that's pretty much all I had to do on this launch. But I really want to make sure that to thank everyone. And I really want to let you know, if you want to find me on YouTube, I'm available. I'm available on most social media platforms. And I also want to thank the people that I see are buying the book. Wow, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. All those proceeds go to me doing the best I can. And I thank you all. And with that said, I want everyone to be well, feel great inside. And if you need anything, I'm always here. I'm always here for you. Have an amazing, blessed day. And that's all I have to provide for you. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you all for joining. If you joined on TikTok, I truly appreciate that. And if you were here for this live stream, I really appreciate it. I really do hope that all of you are well and you live your true life. Thank you so much. Bye now.